Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 2 of Creating with Purpose. This is long overdue, so I apologize for the time, for the few of you that may have been watching, or for the folks who actually asked questions a couple of months ago. But today we're going to keep it kind of short. Today we're going to talk about influencers. So one of the most intriguing questions that I got from you guys was around influencers. Specifically, there were two really solid questions. Specifically, and I have my notes over here, so I apologize. I'm not talking to you right now, but I'm looking over to the question. So, is there a threshold at which someone is no longer an influencer and is just a brand? So, I thought that was a brilliant question. We're getting into really interesting times, and I have too many opinions about influencers. I personally believe that it has gone a little bit too far. The title is starting to lose its meaning, which for someone who is in the kind of digital first world, it's a bit heartbreaking, to be honest with you. So, but the question is there a threshold, right? When you stop being an influencer and becoming a brand? I know that if you're in the industry, which most people who follow me are in the industry, understand that you learn about being your personal brand, and you need to have a personal brand, and what does that mean exactly? But having a personal brand doesn't necessarily mean that you're an influencer. And the thing is that even the word influencer is so loaded because an influencer used to be the celebrity types, right? There were people who actually moved culture forward, were the brave people who were willing to do things differently, to stand up for something they believed in, and to do something that is completely not a norm. And we love those people. We love looking up to those people. And what has become now, which is kind of people who have mastered, cell phone photography and have a pretty good filter for a specific area or a niche, and they're really good at selling. There's some people who leverage their looks. There's some people who leverage their talents. There's some people who leverage their connections. So it's really interesting. I don't believe that what we call influencers now are necessarily a brand. So is there a threshold where you're an influencer and you're a brand? Probably, but the reality is that it's truly hard. It's hard to be either today. I believe this is obviously my 2 cents. I don't think that I don't think that it means as much anymore. Too many people have the title, and once you have too many people having the title, it just kind of loses its meaning. So I just believe that you have good content creators who are monetizing their audiences. I believe there's a place for that. So I completely believe there's a place for that in marketing. It's necessary, it's a must. But calling influencers brands is just getting a little bit too much. I can think about the legitimate influencers. So going back to at least people who I believe are influencers and who leverage their platform. The obvious one right now is Kaepernick, right? And there's a level of celebrity that came with that. But in the lesser levels, if you think about the kind of social first, the YouTuber world, you have people in tech, the MKBHDs of the world, the Unbox Therapy of the world. You have kind of from the Vine on. So these guys were early YouTube. From the Viner days, you have like the Lily Pons, who it's definitely have become a celebrity in her own regard. But for the most part, were people who just built audiences, had content that brought similar people together, and once they built that, they monetize it. So that was really interesting, but I don't think she's a brand. It's been interesting because a lot of these Viners who became YouTubers were actually young actors. They were trying to break into the industry, and this was kind of like their thing. So now all of a sudden, all of these influencers are actually releasing albums. They're releasing music, and or they're. I can think of Kin Bach going back. Like, he's a legit actor. He's done a lot of great work. wonderful stand-up comedian. So it's really interesting. It's really interesting to see these guys as influencers. Really, we're more just kind of like your starving artists, kind of being really creative and breaking through in a different way. So I don't believe they were out there trying to become an influencer, much less a brand. And even at the level of stardom that they have, at least online stardom, and someone like Lily Pons, who is actually now in GQ magazine, entering the American market in music, breaking through spot lists. I don't think she's a brand. I just believe she's an artist. So that's really interesting to me. The second question around this, and in the question says, similar thought, is there an influencer model built on a small audience? Yes, 100%. What I've observed in all of my years in advertising is that there's an audience from everything, from the crazy to the weird to the wonderful to the artsy to the just completely insane to the insanely niche and specific. There's just an audience for everything. So it's their influencer model built on a small audience. 100%. I believe that most people who start in this area don't set out to become that. They are just looking for a tribe. They're looking for other people who are like-minded. They're looking for an avenue to push their art, push their thoughts, and they start building audiences, and small audiences become large audiences, and then potentially something was interesting is if you think about artists who used to break in the United States, it was so hard. You had to tour the country, you had to be on television, you had to be on radio, and nowadays is you can achieve this globally, right? You can amass stardom globally out of anywhere that you're working. So it's really interesting to me. I have too many examples of influencer models built on a small audience. I will bore you all to pieces, but absolutely, my observations has been that most people truly have set out to just kind of share their 2 cents. And it's funny because the people who set out to be influencers usually fail, right? You come out phony at the gate. And that's the one cool thing about true influencer marketing as a strategic piece in your integrated marketing. Is that it's about actually affecting culture. It's about actually creating a moment, bringing people together around a moment, and then adding gas to that moment and adding gas to that space. So if you're really interested in this subject, Coltrane Curtis has an amazing about 35-40 minute talk on YouTube. He did a talk about influencer marketing at the One Show a couple of years ago, and he goes incredibly deep. Here's someone who has been doing this for a very long time the right way, leveraging the right things, tapping into culture in unique, just impressive ways, right? That you're literally creating these moments that, you see a TV spot 2 years on the road, and the majority of people don't realize, hey, this started as this one-time activation thing where they brought the right people in the right space. So look him up, Coltrane Curtis from Team Epiphany. They're amazing around this subject matter. So anyway, thank you so much. This is episode 2. I apologize for not doing this sooner. I'm hoping to get into a cadence with these guys, and I'm hoping to get more questions. So please add, follow, subscribe, do whatever you please. Uploading these guys on YouTube as well. YouTube now houses vertical videos, so I'm looking forward to seeing if anything comes from there. And have a great night, have a great day, create with purpose.